Today we're going to be talking about how to make your very own Beskar phone case. The first thing you're going to need is a case that fits your phone. I actually had a few plain phone cases laying around to customize, but I specifically chose this one for this project because the back is made of a much more rigid plastic, so it doesn't really bend at all. Perfect for attaching something onto the back that's not going to be very flexible. It also has a lip around the back section of the case, which I figured would come in handy with fitting the Beskar piece onto the back a little more smoothly. Which brings me to the next step, the Beskar piece itself. Basically, I want to create a thin plate to attach to the back of the phone case that has that Damascus steel look. Thankfully, there are a lot of options out there for Beskar ingot models to 3D print. I'll link the one I ended up using along with some other great ones I found online in the description. You can actually create the backplate directly in Cura. I'm going to rotate the ingot so that it's flat on its back with the Imperial cog side facing up. Next, resize the model to roughly fit the back of your phone case. I'd recommend overestimating the size, as it's always better to have to cut something down than to have it be too small to begin with. Then I'm just going to lower or sink the model into the bed so that there's only a thin amount left on the printable area. I ended up using the embossed Imperial cog as a guide, only keeping a millimeter or so past the lowest part of the recessed area. You want to keep it as thin as possible to not add excessive bulk to the case. Realistically, if you're using a case with a fairly rigid back, then you really don't have to worry about the strength of the piece, so long as that it can be printed successfully. Now, if you want to resin print the back plate for that extra detail, you'll first need to use something like Mesh Mixer to plane cut the ingot model so that you're left with that same slice of Beskar to then support for printing. Originally, I was planning on just FDM printing the piece, but I wanted to see how my fairly recently acquired resin printer handled the quite extensive detail of the Beskar model I chose. So I also resin printed it. I also figured it would save me on any possible post-process spraying that the weather still isn't good enough for here yet in Canada land, but anyway, got that all printed, cleaned up, and cured. Now, both of these versions did look quite good. The detail was of course a lot more refined and easier to see on the resin print, not only because of the print process difference, but also material color. But either would have been usable, so don't feel like you have to have a resin printer to get a good result. But now that the backplate is all printed, I'm just going to double check the sizing and make sure that it's able to cover the whole back before moving on. The next step is to create a template from the back of your phone case. For this, I just grabbed a piece of tracing paper and a Sharpie and used the lip around the back edge of the case as a guide. Next, cut your template out, checking the fit of it to the back of the case, trimming it down and making adjustments where needed until you've got a good fit. Next, we're going to trace the template onto the Beskar piece. I decided to trace it onto the back of the piece since it was a flatter surface. Make sure you flip the template if you also trace it onto the back so that everything has the right orientation. I lined up the right and bottom edges of the template with the Beskar piece to minimize the amount of trimming needed and to also keep the Imperial cog in the right location. Once that's all traced on, it's time to trim the Beskar down to size. Now, this is definitely where using a resin print for this becomes less fun because it's not exactly the easiest thing to cut. If you're using a PLA print, just slice that thing with a hot knife and you'll be done in 30 seconds. But for the resin, I ended up making the big straight cuts with one of my better utility knives, which even then, I unfortunately cracked the piece when I was trying to cut the camera hole. Thankfully, it was a really clean break, so I knew I wasn't going to be that much of a problem to get everything lined back up and hide the seam between the pieces. But for the corners and any trimming, I ended up just filing and sanding down to minimize any more casualties. It did take a while to get everything filed down to fit the back of the case, but once it was done, it fit absolutely perfectly. Now it's time to actually attach the Beskar piece to the phone case. I started by scuffing up the back of the case and Beskar piece with some rough sandpaper to give the two surfaces a bit of texture to help the adhesive bond them together. I wanted to make sure the Beskar plate was really stuck on there, so I decided to use this JB Weld plastic epoxy. Really, you can use any favorite adhesive that you have that's good for bonding plastic together. Just follow the instructions for your chosen adhesive, making sure you have a decent coat covering the back of the phone case. I also decided to use a bit of the epoxy to build up and smooth out the edge of the Beskar piece created around the camera hole. Once all of the pieces were stuck to the back, I used some clamps to keep everything in place and left it to dry. After the epoxy had set, I ended up doing a bit of cleanup around some of the edges. Nothing too bad, just getting rid of a bit of the excessive adhesive that had bubbled over some of the edges. I also cleaned up around the camera hole, filing down any excess resin and epoxy. I also decided to file the edge of the entire Beskar plate down to round it out a bit and give it a nicer feel when holding the case. It also helped to blend the Beskar plate in with the rest of the case. Once I was happy with the feel of everything, I decided to test out my phone in the case. I mainly wanted to check that there was no interference with the camera and that the edges of the Beskar plate were rounded enough that they weren't visible from any of the lenses. Now that everything is assembled, it's time to start actually making this case look like Beskar. But first, you'll want to really tape up the rest of the case well to mask it off from any of the painting and finishing that we're about to do to the back. Make sure to take your time taping the edges around the back so that the lines will be as clean as possible once the tape is removed. You'll also want to tape the entire inside of the case as well so that it stays clean. Once you have everything taped up, it's time to start priming and painting. Now, because I used a resin print, I basically have non-existent prep work to do before priming, but if you're using an FDM print, this would be the chance to do any additional post-processing work if you haven't already done so. For this case, I'm using a black airbrush primer. It's what I had laying around, and again, the weather is still pretty finicky here, so not having to worry about a spray can primer that needs reasonable weather conditions is always a bonus. This airbrush primer is also not too thick, so I wasn't worried about accidentally losing any of the detail in the Beskar. I only did about a coat and a half of this just to make sure everything was covered evenly. Once the primer is dry, we can move on to painting. Now, there are a lot of ways to paint Beskar, and most of them look very good. For this project, I decided to use acrylic ink, which if you don't know is basically liquid paint that can be easily used in an airbrush. This is again one of those things where you absolutely do not need an airbrush to do this, but since I have one, I decided to use it, especially since I don't get a chance to really play around with it as much as I'd like. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and spray the entire piece silver. Once the silver has dried, it's time to start adding back in some detail and depth to the Beskar. Using a small-ish paintbrush and some black acrylic ink, I'm going to brush it onto the back of the case in small sections, and immediately wipe it off so that the black ink only stays in the grooves of the Beskar texture. Depending on the texture of your chosen Beskar ingot, you might actually want to reverse these two steps, spraying or leaving the whole back black and then dry brushing on the silver. Since this particular Beskar model had very intricate and even flat recessing of the texture, it was going to be a lot easier to paint it this way. Once you're happy with the color of the Beskar and everything's dried, it's time to add a finishing coat to protect the back. For this, I'm going to be using epoxy resin. It's super clear, strong, and I'm really used to working with it. Again, this is completely up to personal preference. Using something like a clear lacquer spray could also work really well. Just keep in mind that this is a phone case, so you're going to probably want to use something that dries down or sets completely tack-free and also can withstand a bit of wear and tear. Again, follow the instructions for your chosen finish. For me, that's measuring out even parts of the resin, mixing them together, and then applying it to the back of the case. If you're using something like resin, make sure you don't have the camera hole completely blocked off so that the resin can drain. I have a bit of tape along the outer corner of the camera hole to help build up a bit of resin along those thin edges so that they are more even with the rest of the case. But you definitely don't want to be dealing with a solid piece of resin covering the camera hole. You also don't want to apply too thick of a resin coat. This is self-leveling resin, so you can have it dome a bit, but you really don't want to be adding excess weight to the case. Something else that I didn't even think of when I was doing this was wireless charging. It won't work if there's too thick of a back plate. I'm happy to say that it still works perfectly with my finished case on my phone, but that's also something to be considerate about if it's something you're used to using. I poured on just enough so that there was an even coat to smooth the back completely out and fill in the dip from the Imperial cog. Of course, the best part about using epoxy resin is getting rid of the air bubbles with a torch. Once the resin or whatever you finished your case with has cured for the recommended amount of time, it's time to start taking the tape off. If you're using something thicker like resin, it can help a lot to use a knife to cut along the edge to more cleanly remove the tape. You can also clean up any excess resin with a knife and/or file. Finally, it's time to put your phone into its new case. And that's how to make your very own Beskar phone case.